It's Monday morning, back at the North Coast Flying Club for the Nieuport 11 build. Had a weekend off, enjoyed a bit of sunshine, gigged Saturday night, late night, so Sunday had a bit of a chilled day and enjoyed the sunshine and just chilled and didn't do anything on the aeroplane. Did do a bit of thinking about it. I had a look at the tail wheel fixation, I came up with some ideas and then promptly found a far better idea, which I'll show you. And I've been thinking about the undercarriage, main undercarriage, and fitting brakes as well. So I'll show you what I've done, or what thoughts I've had, and then explain why they were crap. I'll flip it over and show you what I've been doing. So that's the tail wheel I made up. That's basically all you get. You get the instructions to make the tail wheel. It doesn't really tell you how to fit it. And it's got to go obviously at the rear end here somehow, but there's virtually no instruction at all that I could find. You know, maybe I'm not looking far enough ahead, but we'll see. So that's what I've got. So I started, as I said, I didn't do any building, but I started looking at ideas for how to fix a tail wheel, because it needs some suspension on it. And again, as with the main undercarriage, I'll use bungee cord suspension. And if you can make that out there, I thought this is the rear of the bottom of the fuselage here, which is this bit here, and I thought if I make an angled piece there out of two pieces, and then pivot the tube into that channel, basically bungee cord around it, which will work as suspension. It will pivot on there and move. We've still got the these bits for the control from the rudder control here are still there. So I like it, but it's a bit complicated. And then I found a video of a guy who'd made one who'd crashed it, and he showed how his was fixed. It's the same idea, but a hell of a lot simpler system than I've come up with there. And again, the problem with that, I would have to use steel, box steel, which I've got there, take off a part of that. And I just thought it would be nice if that slipped inside there, and then it could move in and out, and it would be nice and simple. You know, it's fairly lightweight, although this is steel, not aluminium, but it'd be hard wearing and strong. So I might still come up with something like that. But a far easier way is to pivot. As I left this piece on, left this extension, I was just going to cut it off, but I can pivot from here with a piece that goes through into here, basically, and then bungee against that, which would be a much simpler, lighter method. However, the guy whose video I was watching did say that this isn't a very good system. It works okay on grass, but on hard runways it tends to slip, it tends to wobble quite a lot. So I think I might change this anyway and put this box steel in place of that thin aluminium, so it's got a nice decent flat surface on there on which to pivot. So I think we'll give that a try first, and go from there, see what happens. So I'll have a play around with this today. I know I should be doing wings, but I sort of want to have this in my head at least, even if I haven't got the bits to make it all up. I think I need to have it in my head what I'm going to do. The other bit I've been playing at, let's say, excuse my awful drawings, but they're just sketches of ideas, basically. And again, this was for the main wheels, and I was thinking of putting bicycle disc brakes on here, of which I've ordered a set just to give it a try. My problem is going to be mounting them, and my other thought is, if you've got a wheel spinning round and a disc brake clamped onto it that's going to be attached to the main steel axle, there's going to be a certain amount of turning motion that's going to be transferred to the axle, which will spin. And if that axle spins, because there's nothing fixing it in place, it's only held on with bungees basically, and the wheel at each end stopping it going anywhere. So I'm having some thoughts about how I can prevent the axle spinning using simple, lightweight methods. So I'm still working on that. Initially I was thinking if I put one brake disc at the top, one caliper at the top and one at the bottom, they would counteract each other, but of course that won't happen because the wheels both still spinning the same way. That won't have any effect at all. So, and that's what this little drawing is here. But as it's all spinning that way, the momentum's going to be the same, whatever, I think. So anyway, I'll have a play around, let you know how it goes on. So I said I've been thinking about undercarriage all weekend. Well, when I came into the workshop this morning, obviously some of the guys at the flying club have clearly been thinking about the undercarriage options for the Nieuport as well, and provided me with a very nice suggestion of bright yellow tyres from a wheelbarrow or something. So yeah, nice thought, guys, but I don't think that's really going to work. So anyway, I'm going to pop it up on the bench, have a look at this tail wheel, see what I can come up with for ideas for that. I know the last video was a bit of a mash-up. I had a few problems downloading episode 6 of the build. I'd taken quite a bit of video, some time lapse. I'd taken some nice sparkling images of me grinding the steel bits for the tail wheel. It's a bit like those Hollywood movies, wherever they show a workshop, there's always somebody grinding away at something and sparks flying, no matter where they are. So I always thought I'd get a bit of Hollywood into the YouTube video. Sadly, I lost a lot of the work I'd done. For some reason it had got corrupted. I'm far happier pulling rivets than I am pushing pixels. So, but anyway, so I do like the idea for the undercarriage, but I don't think that's an option, to be honest. Thanks, guys. So I spent the morning working on some sort of fabrication for the tail wheel, and I think I've come up with a solution that works. Doesn't look like much for a morning's work, but we fitted this base plate, the large base plate there, and round on the other side I have added some strength in there, and in between those two, you can't really see it, but there is a piece of wood, and my plan is, you can maybe see the plywood in there, that the plan is to bolt this piece bolted through that two piece of aluminium and the wood to keep it solid, and then fabricate. I've made some cardboard practices to see how it would work, and it seems to work okay. So I would rivet these in place there, and where the little green dot is, I would pivot the tail wheel, and that will then be able to pivot on there, which will give me a certain amount of suspension on it, and obviously there will be a bungee that goes round there and round that to provide the elasticity of the suspension. I've also spent the morning changing this slightly as well. I've blocked it into a steel block rather than the very flimsy aluminium one, in the hope that will prevent any rocking, which is apparently quite common with that central bolt just going through one spot. I'm hoping that we might just be able to prevent some of the shimmying on the tail wheel should we land on tarmac. I mean, most of its landings will be on grass strips, I'm thinking. It's not a go places aeroplane. But that's my plan, which has all worked well right up to this point, and now I haven't got any aluminium to make these brackets with. So I shall purchase some aluminium, some 6061 T6061 aluminium, and make a couple of extra brackets, and I think that's that problem solved. I'm quite pleased with that. I'm thinking it will be a workable solution. I'm probably going to have to file off the rear end of that, so it's got a circular to solve my problem. Oops, sorry, fingers. So I guess everybody was expecting to see at least some parts of some wings on the bench. Not really happened just yet. I can't decide whether I'm just prevaricating over starting it or what. But I thought I'd continue with the. I'd forgotten that I'd got the tail struts, or pieces of metal to make the tail struts. So I've got on with making the tail struts. They are fitted and taken off again. I've put them down here. And that's one side, obviously port side. So the bend, I'm not particularly thrilled with the work on those. They're perfectly good. Just I found it really awkward. Again, it's probably just single-handed doing it, but yeah, you have to squash them and bend them, as you can see, drill and shape, and then join them at the fuselage. Those will, and we've made the fuselage holes there, and they fit through there and then connect to the stabilizer. I have used the thicker pieces. That was what seemed to be the consensus, really. People use different ones, but I've used both. And the other job I got on with was trying to sort out some brakes. So I got this adapter for fitting disc brakes on, and my thought was I could put that adapter on there, put the wheel discs on there, and then mount the calipers, which are here. Mount the calipers on some sort of part of the main axle. Build a strut for the main axle, but I had to reshape the adapter a bit. I don't know, you see I've chamfered inside there to make it fit over this little rim here, but when I drilled it first time, there's a hole here where you can see that to go through, and the plan was bolts coming up through the inside, through that, and bolt onto the disc. That's great. The only problem is this hole is far too near the spindle. I don't know whether you can see that in there. Far too near the centre of the spindle. I don't like that. I wouldn't be able to get a bolt head in there. So I got a bit peed off, to be honest. So I thought, sod this, I'm going to go for a flight. So I went flying in the Hellraiser. Just a nice bimble down to Skegness. Glorious weather, hands off flying, it was beautiful. So that put me in a somewhat better mood. And while I was doing that, I thought the best thing would probably be to build up some sort of bracket first, using the 3 holes that are already in the wheel, and then either put that directly onto it, or yeah, probably just put that directly onto it would be the best bet, because the beauty of it is the holes. Oh no, they don't. I might have to put I might have to put the adapter on, because the beauty of the adapter is the holes fit right between the three holes there, which are already in the wheel, so that works rather nicely. So if I use those 3 as mounting holes, and then I can so I'm going to have to get a bit of sheet. I guess it's going to have to be either heavy aluminium. Yeah, maybe aluminium would do it. It's just, I don't know whether I'll think about whether to use a bit of that sheet steel or sheet aluminium, just in a disc, similar sort of size to this, I guess, and go through there. So I'm sort of thinking out aloud here. If anybody's watching this crap, give me some thoughts, really. Centering it hopefully shouldn't be a problem, because I can just use the axle as a centre, is my thought. Because obviously the axle goes straight through there, and it widens up, so I can just use it as a centre there. But that's my thinking, but I'm not going to do that at the minute. They've peed me off a bit, these, because I thought I'd come up with a really good plan, and I didn't. So, finished tail wheel struts, horizontal stabiliser struts. Nice and strong. When they're on, they're really good and solid, so I think that is the right choice of gauge of aluminium to use. And God's sake, it's going to be an extremely draggy aeroplane anyway. It's a biplane with wires and struts and all the rest of it. So we've got that done, shall we say, for the moment. I might rethink it and redo it. We haven't got that done. We've found a method that's failed, so we've narrowed the options. And I think I'll try and put some wing parts on the bench now. That might cheer me up a bit. Well, here I am again, back at the build. Had a full day today. Don't really appear to have got anywhere, but I'm actually quite satisfied with the way things have gone. I've got on the brakes for the main wheels. Has been what I've been working on. It's been a really complex job. I had to make perfectly round discs with a hole in the middle, perfectly round, to extend the brake discs for the actual disc brakes, and that's gone fairly well. It's been a long, hard day, but again, relatively happy at the end of it. So I'll show you what I've done. So there we have it. That's what I've been doing all day. We've got a disc on the wheel with the extender. As you can see, the smaller disc inside there I've had to make that from scratch, and then find a way of attaching it to the extender and the actual disc. But they've come out pretty good. Pretty pleased with that. That's one, and that's the second one. So instead of getting on with the wings, I've been doing that. I didn't like to leave a job half finished, so I shall get the axle sorted next, I think, and then at least I'll have the fuselage up on its wheels, and I'll be content then to start on the wing construction. I have actually started laying out the wing spars, as you can see, but they are quite complicated. From the plans, these are definitely not step-by-step plans, so I'm taking it very small step at a time with that, thinking about it, doing something else, having a look. I've marked out some basic compression strut positions. They've got to be at a 7-degree slant, as you can see from the block there. I've marked off a 7-degree slant. This is the starboard wing inboard, as you can see, inboard at this end, outboard that end, and this is the rear spar here and the front spar there. Got these sleeves got to go inside the spar, and that'll be where the eye struts go that hold the two bottom wing and top wing together. So both of those extensions, the sleeves go inside there to give it some strength. But I've not cut anything yet. I marked out some lengths, as you can see, the green line there, and the green line there, so it'll come off at an angle. But I've not cut anything yet. I've had a look, I think, marked stuff out, and then gone back to the discs and got that sorted. But I'm actually quite pleased with the way that the day's gone. Those are good, they're solid, they look pretty true. I won't know till I get them on the actual axle, but I'm sure there'll be a bit of flexibility in the calipers, which I've got the calipers. I've got some brake levers. I'm thinking of putting brake levers down on the seat rather than on the stick. I'm used to reaching forward for a brake lever anyway, so I'm thinking of that. I might put them on the stick before, but I've done that process on a previous aeroplane build on the Minimax I built, and it worked fine, and you got both left and right braking accessible. But I might look at a different solution to that. But as I've said all along, one step at a time. Next time I'm down, I will be popping that axle in, getting that drilled up, which is going to be an interesting job, drilling through the steel axle. And yeah, we'll get that done next time I'm down, but I won't be here for a few days. I'm going to see my musical hero at Lincoln Castle tomorrow, so looking forward to catching Sting. And then Wednesday I'm working in the other job, so Thursday, Friday I've got the permit inspection for the Sonex, so I don't know what I'll get to it this week, but we shall see. But all in all, I am pleased to get those done. They were a bit of a problem for me. Still not out the woods, still got to sort out a way of stabilising the axle for when braking occurs, make sure it doesn't spin. But I've got some ideas in my head for that as well. So yeah, good day today, good day.